Hello, everybody. And this is for my trolls who know where I live and have also heard the transmission I did in my group about my dog being attacked. So, the Humane Society came by and they checked out Sugar, and she's fine. They basically said that somebody came into the Humane Society and filed a false report against me by saying that I have 3 dogs and I lock them all in the basement, and what else? That Sugar is less weight than she was last month, and I don't know. And so I said, he's like, didn't you live over in Roslyn Avenue, the other address? And I'm like, yeah. I was the one that people are trying to file false reports against me because of harassment. And so he's like, yeah, I remember that. I'm like, yeah. So they figured out where I live, which I kind of knew it was going to happen. But yeah, so just so you guys know, the Humane Society knows who I am. They know where I live. They know that I'm being harassed by a bunch of people who had nothing better to do. But Sugar is great. He looked at Sugar. She's great. She's very, very healthy, probably more healthier than the trolls are coming in and walking into the Humane Society and making these false reports, which means that I said, do you know the names of people that are doing that? Like, no, I wasn't the one that took the report. But he said that if another person does the same report, or the same person does the same report, keeps making those false reports, they will file charges against those people for harassment. Just so you know, because they know that I've been on the internet. They know who Sugar is. Sugar came from them. They know that I moved, obviously. So it's interesting. Yeah, and I know my address is out there, which is fine because I'm not afraid of anybody. And so, yeah, so everybody knows who I am, you guys. So it's kind of funny that you still think that filing false reports is still entertaining, but Sugar is great. He's like, I don't see a problem. Like, yeah, these people have nothing better to do except file, false. That's what I'm saying to you guys that are doing the J juice. Be very careful what you put on the internet, because somebody will go and misinterpret, and they'll call a government service on you and say that you're abusing your child or abusing your animal, and they'll make false reports against you. This is what happens all the time. Okay, so this is why I say be very careful what you put on the internet, because people will either misinterpret or they'll want to harass you for shits and giggles, and make it think like that you're going to be in trouble for something that obviously not. And so luckily I have the public eye. I'm in the public eye. Luckily everybody knows who I am. Luckily I have all of that behind me. And so you can make all the false reports you want. You can make all the anonymous reports you want, but Sugar will always be fine. I will always come out on top. Okay? So if you don't agree with J Juice, that's your own problem. But filing a false report on my poor dog because you don't like the way I say things or the way I do things, well, that's obviously against the law. Okay? And so they're aware of that. I do have a lot of trolls. They're aware of harassment. They're aware of people misutilizing the system because they have nothing better to do. So anyways, so Sugar was checked out and she's fine. Oh, yeah, Masa. But it's okay. I mean, this is the thing. When you are doing really well, when people want to mess with you. And that's fine, because my government knows who I am. The Humane Society knows who I am. The FBI knows who I am. Who else? The OAG knows who I am. The CIA probably knows who I am too. Who else? I'm sure Donald Trump knows who I am. And that's awesome. So yeah. So I explained to the guy that, yeah, this just, so I said that, hey, next time somebody else does that, please press charges against them, because it is actually a misuse of the system. It is a misuse of the system. And it's abuse of the system. And when you abuse the system that way, you're actually taking away from actual people who need the help. And so really, truly, and I know some people who are activists who think that they're trying to help humanity and they think that I'm destroying humanity. But, and I guess you really can't help those that really think that I'm destroying humanity, which is fine. So we use the law. That's okay. But saying that I lock my dog in the basement, that actually is a lie. Okay, I don't have any other animal stuff for my dog. So the 2 other animals that were here belong to somebody else. But yeah, Sugar is great. Sugar is probably the most healthiest dog ever. Sugar is probably healthier than anybody on the internet at this point. And the fact that that she was able to withstand that attack from those 2 dogs, the fact that she was able to heal from the 2 puncture wounds from the animals, the fact that my husband was there and was there in time, so she didn't have her ears ripped off or her eyes ripped out. The fact that she was able to, the fact that she healed from all that is a testament. Don't be sorry, Masa. Don't be sorry. It's not, it is what it is. You know, when you are on the internet, when you're on the internet and you have a revolutionary protocol that makes others jealous, people will find every way which possible to knock you down. It's no different than viruses that are trying to attack and take over a body. And this is why you have to be very well balanced and to know your environment, to know your surroundings. And, you know, and if you live in this fog that you're untouchable, that nothing can get to you, that everything is happy, joy, you're not living in reality. You have to know that this is the world that we live in. You're always going to be constantly under attack, no matter who it is, whether it's somebody that doesn't like your idea or if it's a competition in an industry that you're in. And so if you're not savvy and aware in how to deal with these different attacks, whether it's viruses in your body and you getting them out, or whether it's somebody in the community that doesn't like you, that wants to harass you, you have to be savvy and aware. And it is what it is, but you let them know that they are overstepping. And then once the system realizes who these people are, they will take action against those detractors. Okay? And so you have to know what your rights are. And so, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but people will use their children as weapons. Do you realize that people will use their kids as a weapon? People will use their parents as a weapon. People will use anything. They don't care. Anything that they can use as a weapon, no matter what it is, no matter how beautiful it is or how whatever. When you're that imbalanced, you will use whatever is beautiful and you will tear it down. But you as a person, a well-balanced person, won't take it as an affront. You let them know, I'm aware of what you're doing and my dog looks great. My dog will always look great relative to the dogs that are out there. My husband and myself, our relationship will always withstand this craziness. People will try to destroy my relationship with my husband. They will try, but they won't be able to do it. And people will try to destroy the beauty of J-Juice by calling all these different agencies on me. But remember, I'm still here. I'm still figuring it all out. I got it. But I just want to let you know, I know the trolls that you're watching. I know that whoever did that, which the Humane Society will now keep watch. Because they've already been, this is the second time they've been called on the same thing, and turns out it's nothing. So yeah, they are jealous of Sugar. They're jealous of the fact that I created this and that they're suffering from imbalances. And so this is what people who are, these are people who are creators. Like I'm a creator. Tesla was a creator. Now I'm going to be like narcissistic. Inventors get attacked. Inventors have people who are jealous of them, and they will find every which way possible to knock them down. Don't allow somebody to knock you down. Always understand the law and understand your rights and protect yourself. Okay? So there you go. And Shuggy is doing amazing. Shuggy will always do amazing. But I wanted to share about Sugar in the group last night, and this is where it came from. If someone heard the transmission, if there's trolls in my group, I know it. That's why I did it in the group, to kind of see what would come out of that. And so I did it in the group, and I know there's trolls in there that took the information and twisted it and then went over and talked to the Humane Society. So I know there's trolls in the group. But I wanted to see if I said it in the group, see how well under wraps it could be. And wow, let me tell you, yeah, the trolls are sharing all of my videos in their group, and then they're saying, well, how can we get Jillian in trouble? How can we take this scenario of Sugar being attacked and twist it to see if we can get, because Sugar was dealing with some stuff. She definitely had diarrhea. She definitely had she was definitely dealing with the trauma of but she only had 2 bite marks. That was it. My husband was there right in time. See, who the real true hero is my husband. He fought off those 2 dogs, saved my dog. And then me being gone for a week, yeah, I mean, that separation anxiety, that sucked. But I finally fed my dog. You know, I was able to get her to eat, gave her some of the juice, dripped the juice in her body so she can get that constant stream of electrolytes. Because when you have diarrhea, you're missing electrolytes. Hey, Jason. No, somebody called up. So I did a transmission last night on Sugar, how I healed my dog with the juice because of the attack when I was gone. And so the trolls in the group went in and took the information and twisted it and said that, you know, I'm locking the dogs in the basement, and which I only have 1 dog, and that Sugar is like less weight than she was, you know, and all that. And so they're thinking that with her recovering from that whole attack, that she would look really skinny and really like malnourished to then, you know, prop up their story. And, you know, and the Humane Society came by and they're like, she looks fine. And I told the history. I told the history to the guy. He knows Sugar. I mean, he's met me before. So yeah. So anyway, so I said that, you know, find out who these people are that are calling, and find out who that person that came down and made that report. And if they keep doing it again, definitely press charges. So the Humane Society is definitely on alert for false reports. And so in a way, I'm glad that the trolls did that, because again, the Humane Society knows where I live, which is fine. Everybody knows where I live, which is fine. And so, yeah, so here we go. This is it again, but it's no big deal because Sugar is doing great. But they were trying to find a way to get something to stick that, you know, oh yeah, Jillian's neglecting her dog. Oh Lordy, it's tough being famous. Okay, I mean, I really have to say, you know, you guys, being in the public eye is no freaking joke. It really isn't. You have to have all of your freaking duckies in a row. Not everybody's cut out being in the public eye. Because like Tony Robbins, like Charlize Theron, like, you know, anybody else, they got to deal with haters that will spin and create stories. So I understand what it's like. And Sugar is like 8 years old. I got her in like 2015 and she's already 4 years old. So I mean, which is really awesome that the Humane Society looked at her, because she looked probably way better today than she did when we first got her. You know, and Jay's like, laugh out loud. The tards don't realize that Sugar's better taken care of than her own children. Oh, I know. Sugar's probably healthier than the trolls' children or themselves. Okay, so yeah. I mean, this is kind of crazy, but I understand what it's like for Hollywood stars dealing with haters. Okay, I totally understand. And in a way, it's like, you know, you got to have the stomach and the strength to deal with the general public. So, but not everybody can withstand it. Not everybody can withstand J-Juice. And this is why there's so much fear, because people are so weak that they think that anything is going to kill them. They don't have real major discernment. So yeah, this is the world that we live in. But yeah, Sugar is very well taken care of. And so yeah, you know, the Humane Society is very aware of everything. They know what's going on. And so, but yeah, it's interesting. Right after I did that transmission, then the Humane Society gets called, because people know I moved, so they're thinking, oh yeah, she moved, so it's gonna be a different report, different address, different thing. Oh no. And then they knew that and the Humane Society knew that I lived over there, you know, my old address. So they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, did you used to live? Like, yeah, we moved. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's the same people again. It's the same scenario, same bullshit. I'm on the internet. I have a protocol. I give my dog in the food. And then since she wasn't eating, I was giving her the juice. Yes, I was giving my dog the juice in a cotton ball form, dripping it down her throat. Yes, trolls, I was doing that. And guess what? She got electrolytes. Guess what? She healed from the diarrhea. Guess what? She's eating again. And she wasn't really eating before. If I hadn't come home, because my husband isn't really doing this, if I hadn't come home, she probably would have had to go to the vet and get antibiotics. But guess what? I gave her the juice. And I also gave her some eggs. I also gave her some, what is it? Oh, I get it, Peggy. I've also given her my kibble and all of that. And yes, I gave her my juice. Are you having a heart attack now, trolls? Laugh out loud. Are you having a heart attack now, trolls? Yeah, she's doing good. She's doing better than you, trolls. And so, yeah, so now I'm not going to be afraid to say that I give my dog my juice. Not that I was afraid, but I didn't want to deal with any backlash. But you know what? The worst has already happened as far as calling the animal control. Because, the Humane Society is like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me again? Yeah. My dog is good. Maybe you should take some cues, troll, on maybe feeding your animals some electrolytes that are probably missing and why your dogs are having issues. Okay, and then what is Peggy saying? Peggy, I think you said something that I just let's see, hold on. So Peggy said, it's difficult just being your friend on Facebook because you're famous. People have even lied about me in order to make you look bad. I won't say when or what they said and call them out since at least they didn't use my name. And I did. Oh, I know. Oh, yeah. We know that one of and I actually blocked that friend, Peggy. I blocked her. So whatever information she's going to get now, she'll get it secondhand from somebody else that'll spin the information. But yeah, people will lie about me all the time. They will say whatever they got to say. And it is what it is. And then Jennifer's like, our local police boss made an offhanded comment how I am crazy because I believe cabbage sticks fixes everything. Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Time is only going to tell. Time is going to tell. And that's why, with something that is so new, we don't have the time behind us yet to really see a major difference. And some people have been on and off the juice, so they're not really exemplifying really true healing because nobody can really see it. I mean, there's so many cures are out there that'll give you the same kind of results as far as just superficial healing. Like when somebody fasts, people are like, oh, you fast and you're turning vegan and vegetarian. Oh, wow, you look better. Oh, wow, you look good. And so then these people and the person is thinking like, oh, yeah, fasting is like the everything, when really you're starving your body. And yeah, you're going to see a difference. Okay. Yeah, you're going to see a difference. But is it really a good difference in the long run? Or is it just because, you sustained a very superficial difference? Okay. So thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Stephen Wilga. Glad to see you back on my Facebook. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's going to take time for this information to resonate because you guys have to be the one to exemplify in your life. And while people are aging in your life and then you're doing the juice, they're going to see that you're not aging. As they're like, I'm already seeing it now, that people in my life are aging. Okay? They're aging and I'm still looking great. I'm not aging, getting any bigger. I'm not having any of this crazy inflammation, but they are. And so it's going to take time for people to see the results, but you have to be doing the protocol and you have to look. I mean, it's going to take a minute. It's going to take a few years. And then we say the priest of our monastery 20 years ago was healing people with his cabbage protocol. People came from all over the world to meet him. He wrote 2 books about his cabbage cures. Okay. But, it's like, the thing is that if you're dying and then you're aging, this is where the specific and measurable results, come into play. And if somebody has a cure, but they're still aging and they're still degrading, then it's like, okay, well, do I want to be doing your protocol? So it's even the outcome. It's even the outcome. So if somebody has a cabbage cure, but they're still aging and degrading, well, what good is that if you're still aging and degrading? Okay. So this is why J-Juice is so different, is that you're not going to see immediate results that are going to make you think that this is any different than some cure that's out there on the market that'll give you superficial change. Okay. This is a protocol that's going to have to withstand the long haul, and it's going to take time. So yeah, so anyways, it's just kind of funny, but it is what it is. Life is what it is. My dog is doing great. The detractors, I mean, they realize that nobody is really talking smack about me too much anymore as far as the media. They've left me alone. And so they have no other mouthpiece to use. So what do? They try to go back to the government sources and try to mess, but they all knew who I am. So it's not like a big deal. But yeah, it's difficult to really understand my information if your desire is to kind of mess with people. So yeah, so it is what it is, but I just want to give you guys, a heads up. Okay. I want to give you a heads up what's going on. Be careful what you say on the internet, because people will misconstrue what you say and they will call government agencies on you. And that goes for children. And that goes for animals. But now I'm going to say, yeah, I gave my dog the juice straight up. And when she wasn't eating anything, yep, I did. And guess what? She got healed. That's right. And guess what? The Humane Society checked out Sugar and she looks great. Right after the attack, right after a week of almost hardly not eating anything, she still looks great. Doesn't that tell you a lot about how my animal is strong? That even through an attack of 2 dogs and my husband fighting off a second dog, my dog still looks amazing, even with not eating for a week the solid food. Even with her giving her my juice, she still looked awesome. That ought to tell you something, that even with her enduring an attack and then having an upset of homeostasis and anxiety, because a separation anxiety because I wasn't here, she still looked healthy for the Humane Society to be like, there's nothing wrong here. I don't lock her in the basement. See, that's what people don't understand, is that Sugar, that animals and people, even when they get attacked for whatever reason, whether it's another animal or another person or whatever, and they still do the juice and use the juice as a remedy, they will heal so fast, and they will still keep the form that they have. Okay. I mean, Sugar didn't like go down to a bag of bones because she didn't eat for like really solid food for about almost a week. And having diarrhea. She didn't turn into a bag of bones and basically wilt. But that's what the trolls wanted to convey to the Humane Society after her being under attack. Oh my gosh, she's having diarrhea. Oh my gosh, Jillian's just giving her the juice and that's it. Oh my God. They're thinking that Sugar is like in dire straits. And no, Sugar just needed to have some order in her life. My husband has his own schedule when I was gone. And then getting attacked by 2 pit bulls on top of that didn't help any matters. So she was like all in a flux. Okay. So of course it's going to upset homeostasis, but I nursed her back to health, and the juice was the main component. If I hadn't come home and given her the juice straight up on her teeth with a cotton ball down her throat, she would have been at the vet's office getting antibiotics and whatever else. Well, they're like saying, well, you could have given her rice and boiled chicken and pumpkin and rice, but she wasn't eating. She wasn't eating. So what do you got to do? You have to put this juice down her fucking throat. And I did. And guess what? She started eating again. Guess what? She started pooping again. Guess what? She's great. Yeah, and she used to wreck our sofa pillows and tennis balls. And I told the Humane Society that. I said, hey, she used to destroy tennis balls to where she was chewing them up in little pieces and leaving them all over the place. She doesn't even do that anymore. She stays off the couch when I tell her to get off the couch. If and as far as the basement, I don't know about the basement, but about talking about the basement, but I don't understand what you mean by that, Jennifer. But yeah, I mean, the juice really changed her demeanor. It changed her outlook. It got her system well balanced. So when there is an upset of homeostasis, which is going to happen, whether it's a storm, whether it's a dog attack, whether it's who knows what, if your dog or the person is already well balanced inside and they sustain some kind of upset homeostasis, their ability to bounce back will be that much shorter and stronger. The fact that some dogs cannot handle dog attacks or cannot handle any upset of homeostasis speaks to the fact that they already have sustained mutations and a weakness in their body. My dog does not have a weakness in her body. Yes, she had the diarrhea because of she probably was exposed to a virus, and she also had separation anxiety. I was gone for a freaking week. All of her routine was totally upset, and then being attacked on top of that. So the fact that she bounced back from that in like 6 days since I came home is a testament to how strong she is and how strong the juice is. And so now here's what I'm going to say. The juice was the miracle thing. If it wasn't for the juice, she would have probably been at the vet getting some kind of probiotic thing that they have there. Because what would a vet say to give to a dog that wasn't eating? What would a vet say? They'd be like, well, just feed her some, I Googled all of that. The vet would have given her antibiotics because of the dog attacks. They probably would have given her all the other vaccinations, that maybe, which I'm fine with giving her vaccinations. If I ever board her or do that, I'll give her vaccinations and she'll be fine. But Steve goes, diarrhea is not an illness. Right. It's, the parasites that may have she been exposed to because of those two other dogs. Oh, Masa. Okay. She got vaccinated by two dogs. They probably gave her some whatever bacteria that's in their mouth. And so her body was reacting from that. Okay. And also then being in a fight and then me being gone, all of that would have messed with her whole homeostasis. And so, my husband has a different way of doing stuff, which is fine. She has to be able to balance out the upset of homeostasis, but it's still, I keep her on a routine. She knows what to expect. And animals need routines, and so do humans. When I grew up, we had a routine in our house. Jason had a different routine with the way he grew up, and it's completely fine. But if she hadn't been attacked by those animals, then we probably wouldn't be seeing this issue. But the fact that she was kind of brought in extra stuff in the mix. Okay. Come here, sugar. Sugar. Come here. Come here, sugar. Want to come down here? Sugar. Okay. She's doing her thing. So anyways, come here, sugar. Come here. Come here. Sugar. Come here. Come here. Hi. What? What? Were you eating your food? See, she's so healthy. Yeah, she eats whatever. When she used to eat table food, she used to get like red marks down her she used to get red marks down her throat because those were pathogens that her body didn't recognize, so she'd go into inflammation. Okay. And so now we give her, whatever we have on the table, whatever it is. And she doesn't have any yeast. She doesn't have any red inflammation lines in her body. She looks so young and so healthy, and it's because of the juice. It's because of the juice. When I mix it in with her food, when I put it on her body, when I soaked it in her wounds, when she had wounds. I mean, she doesn't even have any fleas. She doesn't get any ticks anymore. Oh my gosh, Sugar's in the basement. Yeah. She doesn't have any kind of parasites that I see at all on her body. She doesn't have any parasite symptoms of anything. She's the healthiest. And yes, come here, Sugar. And, she listens. She freaking listens. When I'm outside, if she goes beyond a certain point where I can't see her, I say, Sugar, and she minds, and she goes right back into the yard. Now, of course, it's going to help I have a fence line, of course. But right now, until we get that fence line, this is how we do things. So I'm out there with her constantly because I don't want her to get attacked by any more animals. I won't really walk her too far away from the property because of the fact that people do have, there are pit bulls in the neighborhood. There are other dogs in the neighborhood. Fences are not always reinforced. So I stay within my area because I know the world that I live in. I'm not dumb, okay? I know the world that I live in. I stay and I watch her. Because when you let a dog out and you let your dog roam and your dog's not even is not cared for and looked after in the way that you should, and you allow your dog to go out, and then somebody else will hurt your dog because they don't know your dog. So I keep track of my dog at all times. And I want to make sure that my husband does too. And, she does. And she was fine on the porch when he was doing the landscaping, but he wasn't aware that these two other dogs were roaming around, and they smelled Sugar's scent and they found her. Okay. And so, yeah, the trolls were taking that story and twisting it and then making false reports to the Humane Society yet again. So they're aware of what's going on, and they will file any harassment charges against the people that are doing that. And I said that there'll be several different people that'll do that because I do have trolls out here in Ohio that know where I live, that know what's going on and all this stuff, and they will try to make my life miserable because they don't believe in what I'm doing. And that's the way the world works. That is the way the world works. So, but Sugar is probably the most healthiest dog ever. She was totally nursed back to health when we did get her from the Humane Society. So she is actually, 180 degrees different than when I first got her. And her fur is so much softer. Her skin is like a baby skin. She used to have a fatty tumor a long time ago that would get infected like every change in season. And before I knew about J-Juice, I was utilizing all the different cures that are out there, like castor oil and colloidal silver and all that. And I would give her some of that diatomaceous earth and all that. And that is all antibiotic. People are giving their animals like cannabis. And, it's all antibiotic. If you're giving your dog cannabis, you're giving your dog diatomaceous earth, if you're giving your dog all the turmeric, like the golden paste, you're actually doing more harm to your dog. When you're giving your animal apple cider vinegar, which you should never do, when you're giving your dog anything antibiotic that's used in the holistic world, you're actually undermining and ruining their digestive system. Okay? So this is why J-Juice is so important when it comes to animals, because they need electrolytes. Okay? They need electrolytes. They have parasites in their body. They're malnourished because of generational mutations. Animals have generational mutations no different than humans. And so this is why you see premature aging, why these larger animals have shorter lifespans. Okay? I read a thing about that the shortest living dogs are like the big ones, like the Bernese Mountain Dog, like the Great Dane, like the big Stafford type of animal. The larger the animal is, the shorter the lifespan, because they have so much weakness, so many mutations. And it's genetic, yes, because they have been exposed to viruses and pathogens that sent the wrong message to the DNA, and it caused mutations. And this is why you have hip dysplasia in pit bulls, hip dysplasia in German shepherds, hip dysplasia in a lot of larger animals, because of the weaknesses in their body from generational mutations from reproducing on a constant basis. And why you have rabies in some of these animals. Okay. And so my dog went through a healing process when she first got on the juice. She went through what seemed like was a stroke. Okay. It wasn't. It was her body finally healing. She went through a healing symptom of her hips to where she could barely walk for about a week because she went through the healing process. She healed what would have been a hip dysplasia or what would have been seizures in animals. You know, when you guys have animals that get seizures and your animals that have hip dysplasia, it's because there are already weaknesses in the body that these opportunistic viruses and fungus will go and exploit. And this is why animals die, because people are not fixing the mutations in their animals. And then they go and give them all this cannabis and all of these different antibiotics, and then it makes their dog weaker. It makes their animals weaker. That's fine, they get vaccinations. Vaccinations are not inherently bad. But if you already have a weak immune system in your animal, then yes, it will cause more issues. So essentially, when she was bitten by those two dogs, she got vaccinated. And if you've ever heard of vaccine-injured dogs, when they got all these vaccinations all at once and the dog has diarrhea, it's the same damn thing. She was exposed to a virus her body didn't recognize. It could have been rabies that she was exposed to, which is probably why she had the diarrhea, which also, too, the separation anxiety. So I nursed her back to health. So thank you, trolls, for calling the Humane Society, because now I can really feel comfortable talking about this freely, because they've seen what Sugar looks like after 2 years on the protocol. She's been on the protocol for 2 fucking years, you guys. 2 years. And she looks like a freaking puppy. And they see the evidence. The Humane Society sees the evidence of what, and then I'll be around for the next 10, 15 years. So will Sugar, barring no crazy natural disaster that will lift us off the earth. But they will see Sugar in 10, 15 years looking exactly the way she would look today. And they'll be like, what the hell? So that's what I'm saying. Time is on our side. Being 3 years onto the protocol is still so new for a lot of people. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the detractors, because they think I'm so good with my words. They think I'm such a cult leader that I'm able to spin words together and convince everybody that the sky is black when the sky is blue. And I get it, because let me tell you, I felt the same way too about all the different things, the conspiracy stuff. I was always finding some kind of argument and some kind of response to whatever somebody would have. And so I really, truly think that my detractors, my naysayers, people that are concerned, really have a good intention, but it's really misguided. And lying about what is going on with my dog doesn't really help any. If anything, it just keeps cementing. And it keeps having me prove to my government or to the Humane Society that this juice is amazing, and maybe it needed to happen, because I wasn't bringing Sugar to the Humane Society because I don't want her to think I'm taking her back there. I would love to take her to the Humane Society and show them what she looks like. So I send pictures. I send pictures and tag them in recent pictures so they see that she's doing great, she looks great. But pictures can be doctored, right? But I don't want to take her back to the shelter and have her think that she's going to go back there for any reason. So no, I'm not giving them like an actual physical status update of how she's doing. So I guess in a way it's good that they keep checking on her, because of my detractors, who are essentially just they really care, even though I think it's a pain in the ass. But I think they do come from a good place, but lying about stuff isn't exactly the best way to go about doing it. So, but I'm going to say now, come here, come on up. Yeah, she's right. Oh yeah, see, there she is. But lying about me locking my dog in the basement and all that stuff really doesn't help anything. But now I can really talk about freely that, yes, I healed my dog on the juice. She wasn't eating. I was dripping the juice down her throat. And that was probably the only thing she really had on some days, was the juice with a little bit of food. And finally, she's eating and she's getting back on schedule. She has hard poop. She looks great. So there you go. The proof is in the pudding. We can lay this to rest. The juice is harmful, because it's not. My dog looks way better than anybody, and she'll be around for a long time if I can help it. One day I'll get my husband on board where he, if I ever do leave and something else happens, that he'll give her the juice in the sponge form if she has any problems with diarrhea. But he's still, this is not his gig, and I get it and I understand. But I mean, I'm hoping one day he'll get it and he'll do that if I ever have to. Because I don't want to have to feel like if I leave, all hell's gonna go, all hell's gonna break loose. I don't want to feel that way either. Okay. But yeah, it's just like, oh my God, I leave, all hell breaks loose. Though my husband did save her from anything major catastrophic. So the whole healing part of it, he's not really good at, but he was really good at making sure that she didn't sustain any major injuries. So that's where I'm thankful. We'll work on the other stuff. But yeah, my dog looks amazing. And so this is my advice to all of you that have the same issue. It's fine to do what I did. Okay? If the dog doesn't really like or eat it on its own, if the dog isn't eating, then you need to take a little cotton ball, soak it with the juice, and drip it down their throat. And they will, when they go diarrhea, it's because they're releasing the parasites and other stuff. But eventually their body is going to get well balanced, because the dogs need electrolytes. They're so malnourished. Animals are malnourished, no different than humans. Animals can get yeast infections and Cushing's disease and diabetes and obesity and heart attacks and seizures and Lyme disease and you name it. They can get Parkinson's disease. They can have all these different diseases, no different than humans. They need nutrition. They need protein. Now, the difference is you don't give your dog just vegetables. People are like trying to turn their dogs vegetarian. Is a no-no. Do not, and just giving your dog raw meat is a no-no either. It has to be balanced. When you give your dog just raw meat and that's it, guess what? There's parasites in that raw meat. And if their body isn't getting electrolytes and their body isn't getting a well-balanced, nutritional, well-balanced diet, guess what? Their immune system is going to be stagnant to where they cannot fight off the parasites that are taking over their body or the yeast. So the animal must have a good balance of electrolytes, a good balance of nutrition, and a good balance of meat protein. Okay? Just feeding your dog meat or just kibble, okay, fine, it'll have a lifespan, a shelf life. But when you give your dog actual fermented cabbage juice along with the protein and their kibble or the raw meat or the cooked meat or whatever it is that you give your dog as far as meat and protein, they're going to have a very well-rounded type of diet. And then yes, you'll have to deal with the healing symptoms. It's in your dog's genetic makeup. There's weaknesses in your animal. And this is why animals die, because the opportunistic infections exploit the weaknesses. And this is why animals have hip dysplasia. This is why animals have seizures, because there are mutations in their DNA. And until you correct the mutations, you will deal with animals with a shelf life. Some people want animals with a shelf life because they don't want to take care of their animal forever. But here, when you're on J-juice, when you don't give your dog the juice or your animal any of the juice, then you're putting your dog and your animal on a shelf life, and then they will suffer in the end. And it kills me to see people that are on J-juice not giving their animals a chance. And then they go and get the animal destroyed because the animal now goes into seizures and then has other issues. I am committed to my animal. I don't want her to die. Hey, Jeffrey. Okay. And if I can help it and keep her alive, I will. but I'm not always around all the time. And so there's some things that I have to leave to chance because I'm not around 100% of the time. So I'm hoping people around me that do understand this will keep her alive while I'm gone. And Jason did definitely keep her alive. Now, I'm glad I came back in time to basically nurse her back to health. But yeah. But this is very important. So I'm glad. So in a way, I'm glad the Humane Society came out, because it gave me a good platform to talk about electrolytes and animals and even your plants, okay, all of that. And so so thank you. So I appreciate people that are caring about my dog, and they care about me, and they care about everybody in the world, but you're barking up the wrong tree, okay? You're barking up the wrong tree. I understand you think I'm hurting people, but I'm not. Animals and people are malnourished. Animals and people are electrolyte deficient. Animals and people right now have a shelf life because they're so malnourished. And the one thing that I know people don't understand is the pain sequence. You have to understand pain is freaking healing. It sucked that my dog had to go through that pain sequence where we thought it was a seizure. And this was like, about a year ago or so. She went through the healing symptoms. And it sucked. I had to be downstairs at my other house because she couldn't even get up the stairs going through that healing process. I don't give her enough to give her waterfalls. She was already having diarrhea prior to me giving her the juice because of the fact that she was exposed to some viruses from those 2 dogs that attacked her. And she only sustained 2 punctures. That was it. Okay. So, it sucked that that she was weak for that week because she was healing from the hip dysplasia that was in her genetics. Okay. So, so I'm going to put this in the group because this is important information. When you feed your animal J juice, some animals will drink a lot of it, and then some will waterfall, some won't. I don't give her a whole lot of it. The same animals will just drink it up. Mine isn't like love it, but she'll eat it. She loves it and she doesn't. She'll eat it. It just depends on her mood. Okay. And so, sometimes I'll mix it in with other food. I'll mix it in with her other food, and then she'll eat it, and she'll actually lap it up and really like it. And then sometimes she just doesn't want to, but I see that she needs it, and so I'll mix it in with her food and everything's fine. But it's like I don't give it to her every single day. I don't force it down her throat unless she's sick, like she was when she wasn't eating. And when dogs don't eat and they're having diarrhea, they're going to get dehydrated. So what do you do for dehydration? You give them electrolytes and you make sure there's plenty of water. That's just common knowledge. When you go to the hospital, I hear you, sugar. When you go to the hospital and you are dehydrated, what do they give you? They give you saline bags, and that rehydrates you. Well, J juice is no different than a saline bag, but it gets even better. I mean, it doesn't have glucose in it, but then I give her like little treats that has sugar in it. But we have nutrients in the J juice. There's nutrients. There's lactobacillus. There is, so that keeps the candida cancer at bay. And there's also nutrient or water and minerals. Okay. So she was getting a major amount of electrolytes, not a major, but she's getting enough electrolytes to get her system and fight off whatever virus and whatever pathogens she was exposed to by those 2 animals. Because I have no idea how those 2 other dogs were taken care of. I have no idea how those 2 other dogs were taken care of. So, so yeah, so it's interesting how they told the Humane Society that I had 2 other dogs that were really skinny, and I locked them in the basement, or locked Sugar in the basement. What else? It's like, wow, they really had a story to tell the Humane Society. Like, and they were just like, what the, like, weren't you over on Ross? I'm like, yeah, I moved, and it was just like, I'm like, yeah, being famous ain't no freaking joke. It really is no freaking joke. So, if you guys ever want to be famous, you better have the stomach for it. If you ever want to be affiliated with J juice in some public way, you better have the stomach for it. You better. If not, get out of the public eye. Get off the J juice. Stay away from the J juice in any way, shape, or form, because you won't be able to handle the onslaught. Because even the detractors who put themselves out there have also suffered attacks. Okay? So just an FYI, anytime you're affiliated with J-Juice in a public way, regardless of your position, you better be strong enough to be able to deal with everything around it. If not, just do your thing. Pay attention to you and yours. Understand the science behind J-Juice. Understand it. If not, you'll be barking up the wrong tree yet again. And then you look like an ass. And then now we have government agencies looking out for those type of people that go in and make false reports. Even under the best intentions, government knows who's being stupid and who's not. All right. You guys have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.